that actually went like defended.
I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Come on, Ian. As the big man just said, people deluded. I'm back again. First things first, appreciative of all the support you give my platform. And if you're new here, or if you're not new here, make sure you've hit the like button, you subscribe. You've therefore offered your opinions. You can see the title of the video. It appears that the Mudryk saga is coming to an end, and we're going to go through all of the reports and things. I do understand some of you Arsenal fans, myself included, you know, at this point, big up Mudryk and Arsenal's willingness to get the play and ultimately, allegedly making a breakthrough. But we're at the point with Mudryk, brother, you need to hold the shirt. You need to take pictures with Vanai, Edu, and Arteta at the training ground. You need to get your squad number, do the announcement vid, and call in it. We've been here for a time now, isn't it? Although it's the 13th of January, we've been here for a time. Just before we get into it, people, as I just alluded to, I'm appreciative of all the support you give my platform. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good health. I hope you've all had a progressive week. It's Friday. I hope this week has been good to you, and we'll all start in 2023 strong. As usual, you know, I do have manners. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. As I said, make sure you're checking out the YouTube playlist. You're turning on your notifications. You're commenting. You're subscribing. You're doing all of those things, hitting the like button. Don't forget, people, shameless plug, but as we approach the weekend, or better yet, we are literally at the weekend. Tomorrow, we're watching the Manchester derby, Manchester United versus Man City. And also on Sunday, we'll be watching the North London derby, Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal, people. So, yeah, make sure you join me for those watch-alongs. Again, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, and we need to tread carefully because fundamentally, until he has signed on the dotted line, dotted I's and crossing T's, we have to urge caution, people, because anything is still subjective. It seems like we've come a long way, and it's a great morning. I'm in a fantastic mood, people. You know, certain guys didn't want to sign for Arsenal United on loan, or their club played hardball. You know, a couple of, you know, Southwest London derby. Shout out to Fulham. I'm seeing certain guys that would cost 100-odd million to Atletico dropping a couple body feints and then getting sent off. What a great debut. You thought he was going to join Chelsea and come out the hood? Allow it, man. You didn't see what they done to Ababi and Sterling, Havertz and Cole, people. No attacker is going to thrive at Chelsea currently. They will get over it at some time, but we're enjoying it. Chelsea fans, it's all love, it's all banter. You just have to hold that. But anyways, enough rambling, people. Again, we got to tab police, look away. We got to get through a hot second of these things. Arsenal are close to agreeing a deal for 80 million Shakhtar star Mudryk by paying more than 50 million up front, with the Gunners in pole position despite Chelsea's interest. Arsenal are close to an agreement with Shakhtar Donetsk for Mudryk. The deal is believed to be worth between 75 million and 80 million for Mudryk. The Gunners are prepared to offer more than 50 million up front for the winger. Shakhtar Donetsk initially set an asking price of 88 million for the 22-year-old. Allegedly, there is growing confidence that Arsenal are close to an agreement with Shakhtar Donetsk over a January deal for Mudryk. Sources in Ukraine say discussions over a move for the Ukraine international, believed to be worth between 75 million and 80 million, are still ongoing. As we know, Shakhtar set an asking price of 88 million for the 22-year-old, freshly turned 22-year-old, and it's understood Arsenal could now be prepared to offer more than 50 million up front, people, which again, upfront payments, bonuses, and the structure seem to be the things that were kind of holding this move back, people. This personal terms are not expected to be a problem, given Mudryk has made it clear his desire to join Arsenal. The two clubs are trying to find common ground on the structure of a deal, namely the proportion of add-ons and whether they can be met by Mudryk. Arsenal's opening two bids were turned down, hopefully third time lucky, and there were fears that Chelsea could scupper their move for Mudryk, Mikel Arteta's primary January target. So hopefully that means we go for a striker, because Arteta literally said in his own words, the problem is we only have one, and Gabriel Jesus is out for many months. Obviously bringing in Mudryk gives us a stronger collective unit. If him, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson all get fit, people, then we've got a stronger bench, really and truly, which we don't really have that. It would have been lovely to have Mudryk, or if Martinelli's on the bench, or whoever to bring on, or if that means obviously bringing in a winger, I'm prepared to give up on a striker at least until January. Not that we're in dying need. Big fan of what Eddie's doing. Love what Jesus brings to the table. I just feel we would benefit from a striker potentially with different qualities and different strengths to what they have, in the same way. Not that I know anything about Mudryk, but he seems like he's, a bit like Martinelli in the sense of Saka does it as well, but Saka's a bit more cute. Or he'll take his man on and rip him down the flanks, but he'll do the I think one underrated part of Saka's play is when he is narrow cuts in field, plays little 1-2s. Martinelli's had to learn how to do that, but Martinelli's just on ripping guys in the conventional way, and I think Mudryk is needed. Could you imagine, you know, only 3 attacking players can play in the final third, whoever's on the bench bringing on fresh legs and ultimately different qualities. And hopefully when Mudryk signs for us, he's able to build on his reputation, but ultimately he has 70-odd career appearances, 44 for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he's 21. So there's a lot that needs to be done. And as I always said, the conditions are perfect for him to settle. Obviously, he's just restarted training, obviously, with Shakhtar. So there's an element of him probably not being as sharp as his new teammates, assuming that happened. Right now, you don't necessarily know, for as much as everyone connected to Ukraine says he'll be a starter for Arsenal, and I hope he's here to do that. You know, he's not necessarily going to get into the starting lineup. That's Martinelli's place to lose. Smith Rowe, who was the left wing demon for Arsenal last year, and we're going to need him as a super sub, has something to say about that. So hopefully our attention shifts to central midfield. Obviously, we didn't get in Douglas Luiz, Danilo, or Telemans. I do think we need a central midfielder. We lose Xhaka or Partey or any, you know, or anything, then we're relying on El Nene, who does a thing. But obviously, no disrespect to him, he can't do it to their standards. And really, we've only really got 3 centre mids before. For me, you have to explore Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, these kind of guys in the 8 row. I do like Lokonga. I do retain faith in Lokonga, but there comes a point where we might have to see, you know, like if you was at work and you have, I don't remember what you call it, but you know, when you start a job, every couple of months you have that sort of that sort of meeting about your progress, and if you're not doing quite well, other avenues. If this persists with Lokonga, potentially needs to go on loan next season. Sources claim Chelsea remain in talks with Shakhtar, but Arsenal have always appeared in pole position due to Mudryk's clear desire to move to North London. So it seems like Chelsea's interest was just leveraged by Shakhtar in a game of chess that Arsenal have been playing. Obviously, we believe that it was going to take a bit of time, but we get over the line. And Chelsea is a bit irrelevant, really, unless this move falls through and Arsenal say, you know what, we don't want you, Mudryk, and he's got no other option. Maybe there's that, people. Once again, ironically, the comments are there, people. The problem is that we only have one striker, and to cope for that many months until Gabby is back is not easy. But we have to get the most out of the players that we have at the moment. If we can have some reinforcements, great. That is what the gaffer said in the latest report. Arsenal make new offer of 62 million plus bonuses for long-term target Mudryk, following further talks as the Gunners ramp up their attempts to sign the 22-year-old Shakhtar the next winger, people. And he's been, as usual, dropping hints on social media. The latest being he was in bed with his cat. That sounds a bit mad, but he was watching a somewhat green screen makeshift video, I assume, of him moving to Arsenal, and he's done all he can, people. So it's lovely to see that apparently last night Arsenal made a revised offer for the Shakhtar the next forward Mudryk, following further talks on Thursday. As you know, our last proposal was around 45 million plus add-ons up to 62 million, which weren't enough. The restructured proposal is understood to be around 62 million plus bonuses. The key for Shakhtar is that they wanted more up front than the last 45 million offered, and while their ideal is 80 million, they're expected to accept slightly less. So it seems like we've been able to compromise, people. As we know, their chief was in London, people, to escalate talks between the two clubs and also Chelsea, and things like that. And as you've seen, you know, he's done that. That was the latest thing he did in relation to signing for Arsenal, and we just saw the other one. He loves the social media, he loves the TikTok, doing too much on TikTok. I'm slight on you after that, them certain things going on. Charles Watts said, Arsenal have edged closer to landing Mudryk after a breakthrough in talks with Shakhtar Donetsk over the star winger, people. Negotiations have been ongoing for weeks between the two clubs for Mudryk, who is desperate to make a move to North London. Shakhtar have insisted throughout that they want 100 million euros, in bracket 88 million. So they only, based if it's 70, they only got a couple of quid less for the 22-year-old, a figure Arsenal have been reluctant to make. But the Gunners are now hopeful that a deal can be struck, with sources confirming to Goal that the protracted negotiations are now centered around the final structure of the transfer rather than the initial fee, with the potential add-ons the key point of discussions. If a structure can be agreed with realistic add-ons that Shakhtar find acceptable, then there's growing belief that the transfer saga could soon come to a successful conclusion for all parties, with Goal being told that a deal is now closer than it has ever been. Mudryk is currently with the rest of the Shakhtar squad at a training camp in Turkey, and the Ukrainian club are adamant that he will prepare as usual for the restart of their league campaign while the talks with Arsenal continue, people. And again, more social media antics from this individual. Arsenal closing on Mudryk transfer with confidence over 80 million agreement, people. Shakhtar want assurances of those bonuses and the probability that they'll be met during Mudryk's time at Arsenal. Once again, people, Arsenal have expressed a willingness to part with 60 million up front, with I guess another 15 to 18 to 20 million in bonuses. There's confidence a transfer worth a total of approximately 75 to 80 million can be struck, with the sticking point now being the add-ons involved, which is cool. So everybody's kind of correlating the same thing, people, really and truly. In fact, this is the same report. Once again, Ben Jacobs said on the Mudryk update, following direct back and forth since Monday, told there's some consensus over the guaranteed part of the fee. Arsenal still not at 100 million euros in their total package. Arsenal's plan has always been to improve the structure and stick to their top end valuation. Shakhtar have told Mudryk it's business as usual, hence why he flew to the training camp in Turkey. But Arsenal are very optimistic. They still don't believe the final price will be as high as Shakhtar's public valuation, or view Chelsea, who haven't bid today, as a threat. The third offer, as Fabrizio Romano was the first to report, was placed this evening, which was yesterday, and has a healthy guaranteed fee, not quite as high as 70 million, I am told, and no answer has yet been given. All parties expected to use this bid as framework to try and verbally reach an agreement in principle, so less about a straight acceptance/rejection and more about verbally finessing things. Point to reiterate, dealing with Shakhtar is atypical, notoriously tough negotiators, and local knowledge is important when dealing with them. Arsenal expect this to drag on a bit, even with Mudryk dropping near daily Arsenal hints. That's why they haven't wavered in confidence, people. So there you have it, people. And again, go and check out the video I did with Andrew of Zora London, a Ukrainian football expert, where we kind of spoke about everything to do with Mudryk's projected move to Arsenal and the finer pieces, and actually more so Shakhtar's side of why they're doing this, because there actually is, obviously, with what's going on in Ukraine, that part to consider indirectly and directly, people. Con Marble Hills, I mean, take me back to the Rafinha saga, people. He said Arsenal are pushing to get this through, should be wrapped up swiftly now, with little to no more details to go through. Payment structure, final discussions, fee, same as I mentioned before, with more guaranteed. He could be here for medicals before the Spurs game. And I mean, Spurs is on Sunday, so hopefully, people, hopefully it's just a case of ironing out things. As mentioned 3 days ago, around 77 million, still some fine details to go through, but almost certain Arsenal have got their man. Boy, we'll have to see how these develop, and we've seen kind of this from Ben Jacobs already. Once again, talks between Arsenal and Shakhtar are now centered around the proportion of the transfer fee, how much of it is paid up front, and how much of it will be in add-ons. The expectation is that the initial payment from Mudryk will be more than 50 million, people. Once again, Arsenal are close to an agreement over Mudryk. Telegraph Sport understands Arsenal have indicated a willingness to agree a deal that could be worth around 75 to 80 million, including add-ons. And for someone that's played 70 odd times in their career, people, 44 times for Shakhtar at 21 years of age, and hasn't played in the top 4-5 division, Shakhtar, you've done all right, innit? Really, settle yourself, people, and that will help you a lot, people. So again, just further things confirming things. Fabrizio Romano said last night, Arsenal submitted a new bid for Mudryk in the last few hours. Parties are now getting closer. No breakthrough yet. Talks ongoing with Shakhtar the Nets. Arsenal still leading the race. No official bid from Chelsea as things stand. Big up Freddie Paxton. He did say, you know, Arsenal's latest offer of 70 million, as reported by Romano, and add-ons takes the overall package much closer to 100 million. Shakhtar have held out for. The deal structure will be key, but it seems from Arsenal's side they're determined to get this over the line. One thing Arsenal have always had on their side, Mudryk is completely sold on playing for the club. He wants to join his international teammates in Zinchenko in North London. Never been in question. Arsenal's new bid for Mudryk has 70 million guaranteed fee, as revealed yesterday. Understand bonuses are close to 20 to 25 million. They're waiting on Shakhtar. Arsenal are now discussing on add-on structure and how and when to activate them. Once again, bonus is key in Arsenal's move for Mudryk, reveals an Italian journalist. The clubs are still negotiating to definitely convince Shakhtar. Arsenal have to make a very high offer on bonuses, people. So we'll have to see. Everybody's correlating the exact same thing. Once again, Arsenal in advanced talks to sign Mudryk as a medical has been planned, people. You're seeing it float from 65 to about 80 plus million pounds, people. So yeah, man, really. Negotiations are now structured on add-ons, and it could reach 80 million. That seems to be what everybody's saying. The Londoners, this article says, the Londoners are now pushing hard to finalize a deal this weekend and have put their medical team on standby for a medical if an agreement can be secured, people. So I'd love to have him, like, well, João Felix stunk up the place on his debut and got sent off, regardless of his body feints and looking quite lively before that. But if he was available for the Spurs game to be on the bench, fair play. But probably wishful thinking, people. This came out of Sports Arena, which is a Ukrainian publication. Arsenal made a new offer to Shakhtar for Mudryk. They're going to say the same things, but once we heard people, the parties previously discussed the ratio of guaranteed payments and bonuses for the Ukrainian football player. The London club wants bonuses to be a minimum of 30% of the total transfer amount. Shakhtar wants bonuses to be a maximum of 20%. So make of that what you will. Again, further confirmation of things, just going over the same things at these points. So yeah, apparently Romano said, we can say that Arsenal submitted the third official bid for Mudryk. The first one was 40 million euros plus add-ons rejected. The second one, 50 million euros plus add-ons rejected. Now Arsenal have offered 70 million guaranteed, and add-ons are also part of the deal. I'm told that the add-ons package is close to 20 to 25 million. Arsenal are really getting closer to 100 million euros, but with add-ons. It's important to explain that when we say add-ons, it can mean something really difficult to achieve. For example, to win the Ballon d'Or or to win the Champions League, collective and individual success, to win trophies. Or it could be something really easy to achieve. It could be like the number of games to play or a number of goals to score, which is true. So add-ons sometimes means something generally, but the reality is that it's something really specific. And I mean, with Mudryk's potential, you'd imagine if he hits a certain amount of goals, certain amount of assists, gets a certain amount of caps for Ukraine, plays in certain competitions, enables Arsenal to qualify for certain competitions, wins certain competitions. I don't know if he's got Ballon d'Or potential, but that's all that you hear out of Ukraine. There might, like with Martial, that didn't really work out for United. That could be something to consider. This is why Arsenal and Shakhtar will keep in contact to discuss about the proposal. Arsenal are now waiting for Shakhtar to decide, but add-ons is a lot of money, and this is why the two clubs will be in contact on that. But the bid on the table is 20 to 25 million in add-ons, 70 million guaranteed. We know that Arsenal have an agreement with the player. There's no problem on personal terms. Let me clarify one thing. We're not at the signing stage or the here we go stage. The bid is on the table, and now it's on Shakhtar, and the negotiations continue. But we have to wait to see if a deal can be, or better yet, will be completed, people. So we'll have to see. Yesterday, he did say the player always wanted Arsenal as a priority. So on the player side, nothing has changed. I've seen many rumors in the last 2-3 days saying it's almost done, Mudryk to Arsenal. At the moment, it's not done. At the moment, it's negotiations between Arsenal and Shakhtar. They are speaking. They are negotiating. The player wants Arsenal, and that's helping Arsenal in negotiations. They are confident. They are optimistic, but it's not a done deal yet. Arsenal knows that Shakhtar wants 100 million euros from Mudryk. The player wants to go. The player wants to go to Arsenal. The player is obsessed with Arsenal. So there's also this kind of respect for the player. And this is why I feel in the end, they could accept something less than 100 million euros. But as of right now, they're still asking for 100 million euros. Let me just say Arsenal are really confident because they are speaking to Shakhtar every single day. They're pushing in negotiations. They're trying to find a way to give Shakhtar what they want, but not guaranteed 100 million euros. Talks are ongoing. Arsenal are confident, but crucially, it is not done yet, people. So we're going to have to see exactly what's happening in that regard. And again, people, any other transfer news, I'll be reactive to it. Please make sure you're commenting either in the live chat when this vet premieres or in the comment section after. Let me know your opinions on Mudryk. Do you think we should do more business? Do you think this will be the only business? When and if do you think this will be completed, even though we're heading in the direction? Do you think we're paying too little or too much? Do you think it's an educated risk or not? You know, just let me know all of your thoughts, people. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to all the platforms. If you're not going to subscribe to anything, make sure you obviously hit the sub button. You're following on Twitch, Deluded Gooner, DGooner04 on Snapchat. Make sure you're following on Instagram. And if you're on YouTube, check out the YouTube community tabs as well as my Twitter, people, because that's where I typically update you lot for watch-alongs, etc. As stated, Manchester Derby watch-along on Saturday, North London Derby on Sunday. I'm pretty sure you lot can find that, people. And obviously turn on your reminders, or pretty sure while this video has been going on and been premiered, you've seen little things pop up in the boxes. And at the end of this video, there'll probably be other DG vids. So on that note, you lot stay blessed, stay safe, stay in good health. And I'll see you lot again. But hopefully the next time we speak about Mudryk is here we go settings. One love. Right, as long as Mudryk can do this, bro, I'm blessed.
It's always just that active red light, suspended.
I think it's like